On the international political stage, there's a weapon more lethal than tanks and missiles. It doesn't need weapons, but it can instantly rewrite the fate of a country. This weapon is called a coup. When power is violently overthrown, when a new leader is brought to power, the word cold tinny will appear. And in the past 100 years, the United States is the most adept operator of this weapon. Ostensibly, they hold high the banner of democracy and freedom. Behind the scenes, he reached out his black hand again, uproot a disobedient government, install puppets that serve their own interests. Today's video, we're going to unravel this recurring history. Shady history, the so-called international rules and legal order. It's just a code of hypocrisy in the face of power. Really decide everything. It's always whoever has the power that dominates the game. I started in 1893. This is the first time in America launching coups in other countries. Hawaii, 500 miles from the United States, caused the Queen. It poses a threat to the American tang industry. In fact, many years ago, American missionaries came to Hawaii, spread Christianity. They buried a lot of land here. Start planting sugar cane. All the sugar produced is exported to the United States, and the locals benefit very little from it. The Queen wants to restrict traders in these industries, drafted a new constitution. This makes the owners of lobby factories in the United States unable. In a few days, the United States dispatched several warships to Hawaii, overthrew the Queen with the help of some locals. One of the Christian missionaries served as the new president of Hawaii. This is the first time the United States has tried it in another country, intervened to subvert the government, and the fire was successful. People often say that tigers grow blood once. It's going to get worse. And the US is pretty much the same. Multiple parts of the Spanish Empire. A revolutionary movement is breaking out in the colonies, especially Cuba, Lego, and the Philippines. The other side, the United States is emerging as an emerging superpower. He was close to the Spanish Empire. The people are very unpopular because these islands are of great strategic value. America has been waiting for an opportunity. And when an American warship, when destroyed near Puerto Rico, here comes the opportunity. The United States targeted the Spanish Empire, officially involved in the Spanish Empire war with the colonists. He went to Puerto Rico, Cuba, Guam, and the Philippines. As long as the Spanish Empire is expelled, it would give these four countries independence. With the support of the US military, the local people succeeded in forcing the Spanish Empire to evacuate. The United States is in these four countries, placed his own puppet leader. In just 8 years, America passes a coup. They have established themselves in these countries, favored government. And then 1909, the land of Nicaragua in Central America, ideal for planting coffee beans. Many American companies have invested here. They grow coffee beans from here, export to all parts of the world. Elections were held in Nicaragua. A new president takes office. As soon as he came to power, he tried to control these American companies because they are looting like crazy the natural resources of Nicaragua. The United States is clearly not going to do anything. He started spreading rumors. The president wants to emulate the Panama Canal. A canal was also dug here. This makes Nicaragua's neighbor. The country also occupied the camp against him. Although the truth will come out 20 or 30 years later, this is just American disinformation. But there was still a rebellion in Nicaragua. The United States immediately dispatched a Navy warship with the support of the US military. The rebels won. The president was forced to resign. The United States is in Nicaragua again. Support the government that they approve of. Government. Just 2 years later, this is 1911. The United States neighbor in Nicaragua, Red Blah, also planned a coup. Same story. President of Honduras, trying to control American companies in the country. These companies are mainly engaged in the banana trade. The mastermind behind is an American known as the Banana King. This person is trying to save his business. They launched an attack with a private army. And the US government doesn't care about it. When the war rages on, the US government has pressured for a ceasefire. President Honduras was forced to resign. Then the Banana King in Honduras raised a president who obeyed him. This president, not only did he give him more land to grow bananas and tax exemptions for all his companies. An American businessperson is like this: overthrow a country's government. At this moment, the United States has become one of the world's superpowers. The CIA put war fears, completed a complete revolution. The eyes of the United States are no longer limited to neighboring countries. They went global. At that time, the United States had only one opponent, the Soviet Union. He is determined to do whatever it takes. Stop the spread of communist ideas. Which brings us to Iran. In 1953, new elections were held in Iran. Mohammad Mossadegh was elected as prime minister. Mossadegh hoped to get rid of the British, reclaiming control of Iran's oil resources. All the oil in Iran at that time. Both are controlled by British Oil Company 1. Mossadegh plans to merge all oil companies. Nationalization. Britain warns Iranian Prime Minister if he takes such action, will bear the consequences. The British government immediately met with the CIA, decided to overthrow Mossadegh. CIA's secret dispatch. Its Middle East director, Kim Roosevelt, traveled to Iran. His only task is to do everything possible to overthrow Mossadegh. King Roosevelt used money, bribing politicians and religious leaders, let them be distributed in public. Speech against Mossadegh. Someone orchestrated a false accusation against religious leaders. Attack and point the finger at Mossadegh. Violent protests broke out everywhere. The store was set on fire. People threw stones at the police. The police fired back. Hundreds died. Then the situation in Tehran got out of control. Mossa was forced to resign after he was arrested after a pre-arranged trial, under house arrest for life, to fill the vacancy left by Mossadegh. The United States and the United Kingdom have listed Muhammad Deli Saba as a throne of the Shah of Iran on the lake, added the King of Kings to him. Titles such as Emperor of Persia. The United States has cultivated a pro-Western presence in Iran, a pro-American dictator. This is undoubtedly a huge victory. Start inviting American companies to drill for oil in Iran. But during his reign, Iran has become a dictatorship. He started purging all the politicians with different credentials. Military, religious, and student leaders. Tyranny intensifies. Iranians take to the streets, fleeing in a hurry. This became Iran and the Middle East a turning point for the region, because the successor to Pahlavi, it's Ayatollah Khomeini, the religious leader. It revolutionized Iran's cultural and political landscape. The allies of the United States and Western powers became enemies. We'll find its root cause. It was the US-backed coup in 1953. The coup officially brought Valiyev to power. The second year of the Iranian political This is 1954. The United States repeats the same practice in Guatemala, targeting the elected prime minister. The prime minister's guilt. Just want to put restrictions on American companies in the country. These companies have a monopoly in Guatemala, all power and rail networks. He also took back the apprentice who gave it to the banana company, distributed to the general public so that they can feed their families through farming. Same as in Honduras. The American banana industry is in Guatemala. It's powerful. America naturally cannot tolerate such a president. President and Secretary of State of the United States ordered the CIA to subvert the county government. The CIA sprang into action. They started sending veterans to Guatemala and some civilians with weapons. Still near Florida, a radio station was established. Broadcast fake news, creating a rebellion in Guatemala. The illusion that a revolution is coming. The broadcasts are in Spanish. It sounds like it's from Guatemala. Local radio station. At the same time, these veterans and private armies start attacking the government. Everybody thought there was a revolution. Only President Guatemala knows the CIA is behind all this. Under great pressure, President Guatemala finally resigned. The CIA propped up its own puppet as the new president. After that, Guatemala, trapped in a situation of political assassination and instability. It's still not over. Just because of a few industrialists living in the United States, a country is destroyed. 70 years have passed. Guatemala is still suffering the consequences of the coup. Congo has just emerged from Belgian colonial rule. Gain independence. A man named Patrice Lumumba, elected as prime minister. The United States is highly concerned about this situation because the Cold War shook. And Congo is a natural resource. Extremely rich country, especially rich in oil that can be used to make nuclear bombs. Such a resource-rich country. America must not tolerate, endure. The US government has again appointed the CIA, overthrow the Lumumba government. The CIA uses money, and it worked. In the process, Many people lost their lives. Finally, the Prime Minister was also killed. The United States has set its sights on Vietnam and Southeast Asia. It became the focus of two global superpowers. At that time, Vietnam was divided into two parts. North Vietnam is in the communist camp. South Vietnam is pro-Western. The United States wanted to control South Vietnam no matter what. But at that time, the South Vietnamese president's grip on the country is weakening. So the American leadership decided, it's time to stage a coup here. They selected a military general to execute this. Unfortunately, in this coup d'etat, the president was killed. Although the CIA did not issue an order to kill, but then something happened, exceeded everyone's expectations. The coup d'etat. The United States was trapped in the Vietnam War for a decade. They failed miserably. Lose face. This is the negative impact of the first coup. It also spread to the United States itself. The United States plotted a coup in Brazil, overthrew the local government. They have installed a president they approve of. The United States versus the country of Panama have a strong interest because there is a very strategic pharynx here. Panama Canal. 6% of the world's shipping passes through here. The previous dictator of Panama, it has always maintained friendly relations with the United States. But America gradually lost trust in him. And that's when something happened. Panamanian soldiers mistakenly killed an American soldier. America needs such an opportunity. The United States sent 27 Zeroth soldiers, attack on Panama, defeated the Panamanian army, arrested the president, and sentenced him to 40 years in prison. America has once again succeeded in subverting the government of a country. It's 1989. The Soviet Union and Afghanistan are at war. The Soviet Union supports Afghan President Muhammadana Jibullah. The United States supports the Mujahideen in Afghanistan. The United States tried every means to take the Soviet Union out of Afghanistan. To this end, Afghanistan's neighbor Pakistan provided billions of dollars in aid. Pakistan, using the money to support the Mujahideen in Afghanistan. The Mujahideen in Afghanistan eventually took over the Soviet Afghanistan. But these people later became the Taliban and Al-Qaeda just 12 years later. So this is 2001. The United States declared war on the Taliban and tore Afghanistan apart. In 2003, the United States focused its attention on Iraq. He is dedicated to overthrowing the Iraqi president, Saddam Hussein. The United States uses the pretext of finding chemical weapons. Attack Iraq. In just a few weeks, it overthrew the government of Saddam Hussein, organized a pro-American government. 3 years later, in 2006, Saddam Hussein was executed. Another coup in the United States has been declared a success. But then, groups such as the Islamic State have emerged in Iraq, stirring up the entire Middle East. It's still a big concern for all parties. And finally, 2011. The entire Arab world, protests broke out against the dictator. These protests are known as the Arab Spring. The epicenter of the revolution was Libya. It was Muammar Gaddafi. Gaddafi ruled Libya for 32 years. Many Libyans are unhappy with his policies. And Gaddafi was extremely hostile to the United States and NATO. The United States believes that these protests is a good opportunity to overthrow Gaddafi. So again, the scruples become attempt to overthrow Gaddafi through a coup, building a new government. This time NATO is also directly involved. NATO drones opened fire on Gaddafi's convoy. After Gaddafi was arrested, he was killed on the spot by the public. But since then, Libya is divided. The situation has not yet stabilized. From Hawaii to Libya, from Central America to the Middle East, over the past century or so, the United States has repeatedly used coups as a weapon. Rewrite the fate of other countries at will. The people of those countries bled. The cost of instability and division, and the United States often takes advantage of it. Get out. But history is never just a one-way game. The seeds of every coup will sprout at some point in the future, grow into uncontrollable consequences. Iran's hostility, war in Afghanistan, the ruins of Iraq and Libya are all reminding us when might win, but can't control forever. So the question is, in the coming world changes, can the United States continue to manipulate the fate of other countries, or will it be like the empire it once was, swallowed by a storm of its own making?